Another quick one, but this will get everyone involved, and I'm going to give another $20 regardless, but what's everyone's favorite piece of media this year? Any type, whatever it is. I'll go first on that, I guess, as to give everyone some time to think. For me, it's absolutely, especially considering it technically came out this year, the video game Hades, which I have been unable to put down. The way that they do storytelling in that game is incredible in weaving the element of death, which makes sense for the underworld, as a necessary part of storytelling. And every bit of dialogue is recorded. There are a whole bunch of different triggers for which dialogue actually goes. And I am a couple hundred hours into it, and I still have not seen repeated dialogue. That game is just, every element of it is very tight, and it's very good.
I liked Ghost of Tsushima a lot. I'm playing it slowly so I can enjoy it and absorb it. And I want to do a playthrough of the Kurosaga settings after I've played the main game. But I really have enjoyed that game.
I've been trying to think of mine. I don't know if I can name a singular favorite piece of media. But for me, I think the biggest surprise, like the thing that was this year way better than I expected it to be, and as a consequence, something that I came to unabashedly love and evangelize for to a bunch of people, is Star Trek Lower Decks, which was way better than it had any right to be. The first episode of that series is pretty rocky, so my recommendation to everybody is if you watch the trailer and you're like, oh, this looks like Rick and Morty with a Star Trek paint job on it, and then you watch the first episode and you're like, this is Rick and Morty with a Star Trek paint job on it, and then you watch the 2nd through 10th episodes and it becomes the single best Star Trek series we've had in a decade. It's so good.
I'll have to watch it now.
Yeah, it's like, it knows what it is. The characters are great. Every episode is like a classic Star Trek formula episode, but with a twist. The character development over the course of the series is amazing. It's super funny. It's really, really funny. Yeah, and it has just an incredible finale. The season finale is mind-blowing how good it is. So I'm extremely excited for more Lower Decks. And I quite like Discovery as well. I think Discovery has grown into its own, but it did not knock it out of the park as completely as Lower Decks did in its first season.
Yeah, Lower Decks took what it was supposed to be and executed on it flawlessly.
I will definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's well worth it.
So I was going to say Star Wars Squadrons. Just because it was a game that excited me, and it paid off and continues to pay off against all odds. But my actual answer is going to be Ultraman Z, and it's the first Ultraman series I've watched, and it's the first Ultraman series that Tsuburaya Productions out of Japan has decided to just straight up, because of the pandemic, just straight up put on YouTube week after week for free for everyone to watch in English with English subtitles, in addition to all the other languages. And it's, my God, if it's not the best introduction to Ultraman for a modern audience, because it's got all the good Ultraman tropes, it's got all the things about Ultraman that make it great, which is to say, it's full of amazing and audacious practical effects and in-camera special effects and shots in general. But on top of that, it also makes reference to so many classic Ultraman things, series monsters. You've got the last 7 monsters, I think, have been just straight up references to previous Ultra series, and it's I get into it. I am blown away every week, and it's probably my highlight.
I wasn't even thinking about TV shows when I answered that. I was just thinking video games. Raised by Wolves is the show I really like.
Holy moly, Raised by Wolves was a great start that I wish stuck the landing, but even if it didn't, it's still amazing, and we didn't deserve to have it.
I just enjoyed that it was so different. Like the story was different, everything.
Yeah, I had no idea what to expect with Raised by Wolves each week.
Heck yeah. Max, you've got one for us?
I do. I mean, obviously, I should mention Mandalorian because it's the best. But what I really want to mention is a game called Ikenfell, which came out last month and is delightful. I should also mention I'm incredibly biased around it because Chevy's a friend. I've been chatting with people that have worked on it. I'm also a character in it, so very biased. But
That's okay.
That game is delightful and incredibly queer, and I think everybody should play it.
It's been on my list.
Has also had wildly positive reviews from basically everywhere, too. So if that endorsement from Max wasn't enough and you need critical endorsement, it's got it.
It's also not 10 million years long, which is really nice for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not so short that it felt like it wasn't a good length. But yeah.
And if you want to just watch it.
Yeah.
I gotta plug Corey's playthrough of it recently.
Yeah.
Play it forward.
Yeah. The character I am in Ikenfell is named Maxim, which is one very small letter off of my actual name, which is Maxim, but with an I instead of a Y. And they're affectionately known as Shark Kid because they just talk about sharks a bunch.
Oh.
Have you finished the game, Max, or are you still playing through it?
Oh yeah, no, I've finished it.
Okay.
I've 100%ed it actually.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, do recommend doing that as well. It's not that much extra work to get the 100%, so, but it's got some nice extra bits in there.
How do you feel about the Martin Luther song?
Oh, that's all of the music in that game is amazing. Really it's so good. A bunch of the soundtrack is done by the same people that did the Steven Universe soundtrack, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just incredible from top to bottom. Highly recommend.
Yeah. Available on Game Pass too, if you have access.
Oh wow!
I did not realize that. I should give it a
That's
shot.
awesome.
I mean, buy your games if you can, but if you're already paying for Game Pass and you want to check it out, it is there.
Yeah, check it out if you really like it. Maybe buy a copy to support the devs.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do this one more. I'm going to ask the question of the group here again. Let's make this sort of a lightning round, but I like this question because it's a little bit harder, I find. What's your second favorite piece of media this year?
Oh, you mother busser.
I guess The Mandalorian.
Okay, good.
By process of elimination.
Can I say I already said my second one because I used two
Yeah.
first round?
Yeah.
The second thing I would mention as my favorite piece of media is this was the year that I watched the totality of The Good Place. I had because it took until August of each year that it aired to come to Netflix in Canada. I was waiting. I didn't watch it along with everybody else. I watched it when the seasons came to Netflix. And season 4 didn't come to Netflix in Canada until September of this year. And so I watched... Meg and I sat down to watch the 4th season. We turned on the first episode and I have no recollection whatsoever of what happened in seasons 2 and 3. So we sat back down and started the series from the beginning again and binged it all. And then ran through the 4th season in about a week. And I have never seen a series stick the landing that hard. It is a near perfect piece of media in all the series is a near perfect piece of media. The ending is possibly the single best series finale I have seen for any show ever.
Start to finish.
It emotionally destroyed me. It disassembled me.
I don't know if I want to watch it now.
Meg will vouch for the fact that I was sitting on the couch sobbing into my hands.
Wow.
After watching the finale, it was so good. What an incredible piece of work that whole series is. So that is sort of like it was definitely the piece of media that affected me most profoundly this year. And like it only sort of is second because it was the second thing that came to mind, but season 4 of The Good Place, and The Good Place as a complete package is possibly one of my favorite television series ever.
I don't know how much I actually like experienced this year media-wise that was made in 2020. So my second answer is not 2020 in make, but I finally watched it this year, which was Knives Out. That movie is so good.
Very good.
It is so good, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I really knew almost nothing about the film, except it had a pretty rad cast, and it had me hooked very quickly.
It stressed me out, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Really good film.
I just kept trying to like guess the next thing, and I was wrong almost all the time. It's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
And Daniel Craig's accent is just very good.
You got something.
We all know, though, that the best movie of 2020 is Sonic the Hedgehog.
What?
It was
As
fun.
the only movie of 2020.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either, Jordan.
I get more flack for it because I haven't seen it yet. I'm the one who's going to deploy this at a second's notice.
Are you just talking about like general best?
What's
like,
your
favorite media?
Any
this
form of
year?
media, game,
Any form.
music, book,
Like
comic.
I did Hades.
Specifically in 2020.
Max did Ikenfell.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Stage
for 2020, I saw a couple of people. I saw it in chat. Did somebody already mention the Owl House? Did somebody mention that?
I don't.
No.
I'm not.
Oh, no,
that.
okay.
Chat did, but no one here has.
Yeah. So the Owl House is the next sort of in line of these cartoons a la Steven Universe, She-Ra, Kipo that are like that's like it has that child sort of audience, but also is like very well received by folks of all ages and stuff, and is very, very, very good. Really do recommend checking that out. So it started a while ago, but there is a new season that's coming out right now. I recently started watching Channel Zero, which is a horror TV show, and the concept of it is that it's based around creepypastas, like the concept of each, and it's done in the same way that American Horror Story is done, where each season is its own story. And I didn't actually realize, as Chad is saying, until I turned on the first season, that Chris Straub his creepypasta Candle Cove is the baseline for the first season of the show.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's super, super, super good. I'm currently just getting into season 4, which is the one that's coming out this year. And as far as like horror television goes, it's really, 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 really good. I super do recommend it, because I think a lot of horror TV that's been coming out lately is very, very slow. There was a new Haunting show that came out, I believe, called The Haunting of Bly Manor, and while it's decent, it's like it's really slow. Like, it's a very, very, very slow show, and I think a lot of horror like mediums these days, video games, movies, whichever, we kind of make the joke a lot that like they look at a book of mental illnesses and go, is this a monster manual? And they sort of make the whole story kind of revolving around like various like mental illnesses and stuff. And what I like about Channel Zero is it's just straight up, nah, dog, ghosts and spooky things and stuff like that. And I think not enough horror media these days is comfortable with the idea just having like a ghost or having some sort of monster.
You mean
or something
humanity
like that.
isn't the monster all the time?
Yeah, and so I really do enjoy that about Channel Zero. Like, I mean, in the first season, they don't even beat around the bush. There's like, oh no, there's a child made out of like teeth, like human teeth that like chases, that like follows people around and stuff like that. So
That is
yeah, definitely recommend checking out Channel Zero. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
My final recommendation, it's not Star Wars Squadrons, because that's probably third. It's this. I'm just throwing it in the chat. It was a single that was released by two of my favorite artists, Yasuyuki Okamura and Rhymester. Got together to do a collaboration called MacGuffin back in the early part of... back in the before the lockdown times. And it was so good and just so mind-meltingly good of a song that I spent way too much money trying to find and acquiring a single version of this from Japan to get shipped to me.
Wow.
It now exists in my head.
Dedication.
Ian, is the glass mask OP what you meant to paste in?
Whoopsie! No, because that's what's just going to go behind my dance parties from this point. There we go. That's the Yasuyuki Okamura track.
Excellent.
I was about to say, this doesn't look like it came out recently.
Oh no! You try the other one. You're going to get a punch in the face with funk.
Can I get my
Nice.
bus stop?
Yeah,
Oh,
Who controls the
I
bus
believe in
stop
you.
overlay?
that would be the
There it is. Thank you.
hey.
That. Wrong way. Yes.
Oh right, Mouth Dreams came out as well.
Oh yeah,
Wait, what dreams?
Mouth Dreams.
Mouth Dreams.
The new Neil Cicerega album.
yeah. Put that into my head enough times yet. I was mentioning that the Mouth Saga or the Mouth Cycle albums tend to work really well as a road trip.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely good front to back.
Because
Yeah.
they're best consumed as a whole, and also best when you're listening to them as an active listener rather than just background music.
Yeah. I was not as taken with Mouth Dreams as I was with especially with Moods. Mouth
It's-
Moods.
It's
It was such a tough act to follow because it's so good.
by no means the best album, but it is also by no means a disappointment. Like it's not the best, but it's not bad in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a couple of real like amazing bits in
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, yeah, all things considered, like, lots of good things did come out, like, this year, media-wise and stuff, so that's real nice. I mean, actually, as soon as Desert Bus is done, Adam and I get to go and play Visage, which is finally out, which is the first horror game in a while that's just got me so excited. We played the first little bit of it because it was in early access for a while, and it looks very fun.
When I watched the replay of it's a horror franchise, I'll let Ben talk about it a bit more. When I watched the replay, this game was scary enough that I had your volume at like this much on YouTube because I was afraid that I would jump and scream just watching you play.
Yeah.
What's the game about?
You are in a house, and each portion I think there's 4 total stories that you trigger by doing something within the house. So it's like you find this a drawing, and you're like, okay, now you're doing the child's story, and it's like, it's super duper creepy, and it all uses like the same sort of like house and stuff to do it.
Kind of like PT?
Yes, yeah, very very much like this would I'd definitely look at this like a spiritual successor.
I have it
for
downloaded
PT.
on my PS4, but I've never played it because I can't. I watched a video of someone playing and they started crying. I was like, yeah, no, I'm good.
It's so funny because I used to be the same way with horror. Like I was like, I could not handle it. And then when Alex brought me on to do the Let's Nope, it just like it slowly, as I got like more and more like, you know, versed in it, it just slowly became like my all-time favorite kind of like genre of stuff. So it's like whether I'm watching like a movie or a TV show or whatnot, I just I love horror now. It's my
I tried playing Little Nightmares and I was like, I can't. This is too creepy for me, and it's not even creepy.
Yeah,
it is creepy, but it's nothing, right? Like
there's certainly an aspect of you know, being sort of, I guess, able to deal with some of the messages and the themes and stuff that go on there, because they can be a lot. They can be a lot, honestly. But I do really find that like it within that genre, when you do find like the very, very good ones, it kind of provides that sort of, you know, like that experience you get like the first time you popped in Skyrim and like the dragon came on in and just like the scope of the world and whatnot, and those memorable video game moments. I have those more often with horror games, I find, than any other genre.
What I liked about Little Nightmares is when you got dropped, you know, you start the game, you don't really know what happened or why or what's going on, so it's kind of disorienting, which adds to it, which I liked. I did like it, but I kind of hated it at the same time.